Good evening and welcome to your Monday, September 8, 2025 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. We govern for everyone, supporter or not, says Dr. IRFAAN Ali as he is sworn in to serve second term as Guyana's president. Every official will have to account for their personal assets. President Ali vows to crack down on corruption. President Ali discusses security matters with U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of War. President Ali, SURINAMESE officials discuss Corentyne Bridge, FISHERFOLK issues. Fugitive wanted for 2015 murder in Guyana arrested in New York. And APNU and AFC to meet respective members to discuss dismal performance at 2025 polls. Now for the news in detail. Addressing the nation during his swearing-in ceremony on Sunday after a hard-fought election, President Dr. IRFAAN Ali assured opponents and supporters alike that his administration would work for everyone. Michael Henry reports.
I, Mohammed IRFAAN Ali, do solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana,
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana,
that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana,
without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
President Dr. IRFAAN Ali sworn in as the 9th Executive President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana during a ceremony at State House on Sunday. Dr. Ali took his oath of office, which was administered by the Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Roxanne George, at about 10:20 before a packed gathering on the lawns of State House, where his inauguration ceremony was held and culminated with a grand cultural presentation and brunch at the Esplanade Kingston Sea Walls. Meanwhile, in his first address to the nation after being sworn in for his second term as president, Dr. Ali reaffirmed his commitment to be a president who represents all Guyanese.
From Essequibo to Berbice and Demerara, from Linden and New Amsterdam to Lethem and Mabaruma, every strand of our national tapestry has spoken. Afro-Guyanese and Indo-Guyanese, our first peoples across the hinterland, Portuguese and Chinese Guyanese communities, and people of mixed heritage, all across the 10 regions of our country. One Guyana is not a slogan, it is a lived ethic. Each of us, equal in dignity, equal in opportunity, equal in respect. To those who did not support me, know this, I am your president too. Your hopes and worries belong at the center of our work, and the respect due to you will not depend on how you voted. The colors of Pagua, the lights of Diwali and Christmas, the crescent of Eid, the drums of emancipation, the joy of Mashramani, and the circles of Indigenous Heritage Month. These are not separate calendars. They're the single heartbeat of one Guyana.
Michael Henry, The Evening News.
Andrew Carmichael joins us with this story from President Dr. IRFAAN Ali's inauguration speech, where he emphasized that Guyana must never again be a country rich in resources and poor in living standards. According to President Ali, his government will launch a national crusade against poverty, reaching the structural roots and hidden burdens that keep families from rising. Here are the details.
During his inauguration ceremony on Sunday, President Dr. IRFAAN Ali says during his second term in office, much focus will be on implementing initiatives which will address poverty.
One that places the citizen at the center of every action, will dismantle the bottlenecks that frustrate citizens, cut away the red tape that slows delivery, and modernize the systems that too often stand in the way of progress. We'll refashion a public service that delivers more online services, works for the people, responds with urgency, and execute with excellence, because only then can the promise of development be fully realized. As I said before, Guyana must never again be a country rich in resources, but poor in living standards. We'll also launch a national crusade against poverty itself, not just the visible poverty in our streets, but the structural roots and hidden burdens that keep families from rising. We'll fight it, reduce it, and ultimately eradicate it. The key to delivering on these commitments lies in building a highly efficient, service-oriented public service.
Achieving his agenda, President Ali noted that it will require bold decision-making, critical thinking, relentless efforts, and a high degree of adaptability, and the ability to survive and prosper in an increasingly complex global environment. According to President Ali, as he seeks to make Guyana a land of prosperity and where justice is served, there is hope for every citizen.
The future is ours to build, and together we shall rise to meet it. There is much work ahead, and for me, that work begins now. However, the responsibility for building a stronger Guyana belongs to every citizen. My friends, let us not squander this moment. Let us not be consumed by the politics of division, distraction, or discord. Let us instead summon the courage to build and to advance. I invite all of you to join us in this journey of continuity and transformation. Together, let us build a Guyana that is not only rich in resources, but bountiful in opportunities.
Under the laws of Guyana, President Dr. IRFAAN Ali will not be able to run for a second term in office. However, his term will come to an end in 2030. He has said that over these next 5 years, he intends to do 10 years' work. From State House in Georgetown for the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Meanwhile, every official will have to account for their personal assets, President Dr. IRFAAN Ali has warned, signaling a no-tolerance stance as he renewed his administration's fight against corruption. Let's take a look at this bit of the president's speech during his inauguration ceremony on Sunday.
Corruption undermines the efficiency, fairness, and credibility of public service. That is why we will strengthen our anti-corruption efforts by establishing a dedicated anti-corruption unit, tasked with excising the cancer from our institutions and holding public and private officials to the highest standards of integrity. Every official will be required to account for their personal assets, and any who cannot do so will face the full force of the law. We'll pursue both the corrupted and the corruptors, leaving no room for impunity. On this note, I wish to emphasize that the government does not have a system of lobbying, and any person representing themselves as lobbyists or peddling access to anyone in government is misrepresenting themselves and misleading others. A special mechanism will be set up to deal with such individuals.
Another important announcement made by President Dr. IRFAAN Ali in his inauguration speech is the approval granted for Guyana to establish its very own law school, something which the country has been pursuing for years. Michael Henry has the details.
Indeed, based on recent approval granted by the Council for Legal Education, we'll commence work immediately on the establishment of Guyana's very own law school, thereby enabling hundreds of persons to qualify as attorney at law right here in Guyana with full rights to practice in CARICOM country.
President Dr. Irfan Ali, in his inauguration speech on Sunday, announcing that with the Council for Legal Education's recent approval, Guyana will move forward immediately with the establishment of its first law school, a development that will allow hundreds to qualify locally as attorneys at law with full rights to practice across CARICOM. For nearly 3 decades, Guyana has sought to establish a law school within its jurisdiction, as students pursuing legal education have been forced to attend the Hugh Wooding Law School in Trinidad. Currently, only the top 25 Guyanese students are admitted each year into that program. On Monday, the Evening News spoke with Attorney General Anil Lal on the next steps forward, now that approval has been granted.
So the approval was granted at the Council's last meeting, held Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Nassau, Bahamas. You recall that we were required to do a feasibility study.
Right.
The feasibility study was completed and submitted to a subcommittee that was established. And that subcommittee approved it and recommended its consideration at council. We already have an architectural drawing, and of course the land has already been allocated and secured from the University of Guyana. 8 acres of land, and we have to now work out an agreement, a framework agreement with the Council of Legal Education.
Under the A Partnership for National Unity, Alliance for Change Coalition administration, attempts were made to establish the Joseph Oscar Fitzclarence Haynes Law School. However, the CLE was not approached about the project initially, and when permission was eventually sought, it was denied in late 2017. Michael Henry, The Evening News.
Just 1 day after being sworn in for his second term, President Dr. Irfan Ali has hit the ground running, holding a series of meetings to advance his government's agenda. In this Andrew Carmichael report, we take a closer look at one such meeting with Surinamese officials, during which the Guyanese head of state raised key issues, including challenges facing local fisherfolk and the transformational Corentyne River Bridge project.
On Monday, President Dr. Irfan Ali met with Suriname's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melvin Bulver, at State House to advance development initiatives between the two countries. Discussions focused on Guyana's commitment to the Corentyne River Bridge project, collaboration with Suriname to resolve issues affecting fisherfolk, improving the efficiency of the Guyana-Suriname ferry system, and exploring joint investment opportunities. Currently, Corentyne fishermen face significant difficulties in obtaining license from the Surinamese government, a problem that has persisted for many years. These licenses are essential because many of the fishing grounds traditionally used by Guyanese fishermen fall within Suriname maritime territory. However, access to these licenses is often restricted or controlled through unofficial channels, making the process expensive, unpredictable, and vulnerable to corruption. In many cases, fishermen are forced to rent licenses from Surinamese boat owners at high cost rather than receiving them directly through the formal agreements. This arrangement not only increases their operational expenses, but also leaves them vulnerable to legal consequences such as boat seizures or imprisonment if they are caught fishing without valid documentation. Over the years, there have been efforts to formalize agreements that would allow Guyanese fishermen to access Suriname's waters legally and affordably. However, the process has been slow, and many fishermen feel that not enough is being done to protect their interests or provide alternative solutions. Whilst former Suriname President Chandraka Prasad Santokhi, who was replaced by President Jennifer Giddings Simmons last month, had promised to resolve the issue, it never materialized. Meanwhile, the proposed high-span Corentyne Bridge will run approximately 3.1 kilometers, connecting Molson Creek in Guyana, the South Drain in Suriname, with a landing on Long Island in the Corentyne River, where a commercial hub and tourist destination will be established. The bridge, intended to connect Guyana and Suriname, represents a major infrastructural project with the potential of significantly enhancing regional trade, transportation, and diplomatic relations. The bridge, which is expected to span the Corentyne River near South Drain in Suriname and Molson Creek in Guyana, is part of a broader effort to improve connectivity between the two CARICOM states. For more than 2 decades, it has been touted as part of a stage in developing a road network between Suriname and Brazil, allowing goods to pass through Guyana. Meanwhile, the meeting at State House with President Ali and Suriname's Minister of Foreign Affairs also included Suriname's Chief of Staff of the Cabinet and Suriname's Ambassador to Guyana, and from the Guyana side, Foreign Secretary Robert Possard and Director of Presidential Affairs Marcia Nadir Sharma. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, President Dr. Irfaan Ali today also met with the United States Deputy Assistant Secretary of War, Mr. Joseph M. Hamir, at State House. During the meeting, the head of state emphasized that the sovereignty and defense of Guyana are central priorities for his government. The discussion also focused on strengthening and expanding Guyana's strategic partnership with the United States, with a shared commitment to peace and security across the region. These discussions come as the U.S. has deployed warships and more than 4,000 military troops off the coast of Venezuela as part of efforts to crack down on the drug trade in the region. Washington has stated that designated narco-terrorist organizations like Venezuela's cartel de los Soles are using the region's air and sea corridors to funnel drugs into the U.S., thus posing a direct threat to American lives and security. Amid Venezuela's ongoing threat to Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio earlier this year warned that if the Maduro regime were to launch an attack against Guyana or U.S.-owned ExxonMobil's offshore operations, the Trump administration would respond forcefully. Coming up, 11-year-old girl dies after canter crashes into trench, and pedal cyclist killed in hit and run at Rumzek. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's finger.
The One Guyana Floating Production Storage and Offloading Vessel has achieved first oil, marking another historic moment for our nation. With the Yellowtail project now in operation, production will eventually increase by 250,000 barrels per day, taking Guyana's national output capacity to over 900,000 barrels daily, the highest per capita in the world. This milestone means much more opportunities for Guyanese, from jobs in transport, engineering, and construction to new contracts for local businesses.
In today's tough driving conditions, every engine faces three powerful enemies: engine heat, pollutants, and frequent short trips. Each factor is a direct cause of engine sludge, a buildup of dirt that can block vital oilways. This triple threat demands triple protection. Castrol GTX's Triple Protect Power is engineered to fight these three main causes of engine sludge.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. An 11-year-old girl, Kimberly Singh, lost her life on Sunday following a tragic accident along the access road to Enmore New Housing Scheme, East Coast Demerara. The incident occurred around 12 hours and involved a canter being driven by the girl's father, 40-year-old Rupnarain Singh, of Hope West Enmore. At the time, the vehicle was carrying his wife, 32-year-old Kamini Jairam, and their 4 children, ages 3, 4, 8, and 11-year-old Kimberly. Police investigations revealed that Singh had taken the vehicle from the residence of 29-year-old Riyad Narain, where it was parked with the keys inside. Narain told investigators that Singh had asked to borrow the truck earlier that morning to take his family for a drive and was advised to first get permission from the vehicle's owner, Tekchand Ruplal of Clonbrook, East Coast Demerara. Narain reportedly left the area before confirming whether permission had been granted. According to Singh, he was proceeding at a fast rate along the access road when he lost control of the truck, which ended up in a nearby trench. All 6 occupants sustained injuries and were assisted by public-spirited citizens who transported them to the Enmore Regional Hospital. But the young girl was pronounced dead on arrival. Investigations are ongoing. Police are investigating a fatal hit-and-run accident that occurred around 21 hours 15 on Sunday along the Rumzek Public Road, West Coast Demerara. The incident claimed the life of 41-year-old Mohammed Shazud Wahab, a laborer of Waller's Delight, West Coast Demerara. According to reports, Wahab was riding his bicycle alongside his brother, Ahmad Wahab, when the collision occurred. Investigators were told that the 2 men were cycling side by side, Ahmad closer to the white line and Mohammed further toward the center of the northern carriageway, when a white minibus reportedly speeding eastward struck Mohammed. The vehicle did not stop. Emergency medical technicians responded and transported the injured man, who was unconscious, to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Up to news time, the driver and vehicle involved in the incident remain unidentified, but investigations are continuing. We now tell you that the U.S. law enforcement authorities, including the New York, New Jersey Regional Fugitive Task Force, arrested Kanand Oja on Monday, September 8, 2025, in Queens, New York. Oja is wanted in Guyana in connection with the 2015 murder of Noel Nepi Luther. Luther, a sex worker, was fatally shot in July 2015 during a confrontation at Carmichael and Quamina Streets in Georgetown. A wanted bulletin for Oja was issued in July 2019. His alleged accomplice, Ron Andel Ford, was previously sentenced to 20 years in prison after pleading guilty to manslaughter. Oja's arrest follows years of cooperation between U.S. and Guyanese authorities under the Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters framework. Officials say the long-standing partnership between the 2 countries has led to successful cross-border investigations and extraditions, with expectations of deeper cooperation in the future. Meanwhile, local singer and social media personality Lolita Kalinder, widely known as Lola Doll, is battling for her life after being ambushed and shot multiple times outside her East Rheinfeldt home late Saturday night. Michael Henry tells us more.
33-year-old Lolita Kalinder, widely known as Lola Doll, was attacked just after 23 hours on Saturday night as she pulled into her driveway at Texas Square, East Rheinfeldt, Georgetown. According to police, the mother of 2 is presently at the Georgetown Public Hospital in critical condition after receiving bullet wounds to her neck, face, hands, and right leg. Police reports are that she was shot while she was in her motor car by a male who had arrived on a motorcycle in front of her house. Ranks are presently in search of the male and CCTV cameras are being checked. CCTV footages show a lone gunman approached her, parked vehicle and opened fire before fleeing on a waiting motorcycle. Neighbors reported hearing a rapid burst of gunshots before discovering Kalinda slumped and bleeding in the driver's seat. Family members rushed her to the GPHC, where she remains a patient in a critical condition. Investigators have since taken one man into custody in connection with the incident, while a wanted bulletin was issued for another. The man wanted in connection with the shooting has been identified as Paul Darby Jr., called Randall. Darby's last known address was listed as Lot 127, Dagwa Park, Georgetown. Police said he is wanted for attempted murder committed on calendar. Darby Jr. is already familiar to authorities. In June of this year, the United States Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control listed him among 6 individuals sanctioned for alleged drug trafficking. This newscast understands that Darby eventually surrendered to law enforcement authorities in the company of his lawyer on Monday. Lola Doll is also known for her expletive-filled song tracks, flamboyant parties, frequent online spats, and past assault charges. Police have not yet established a motive for the shooting, but the investigation is ongoing. Michael Henry, The Evening News.
One person is now homeless after a fire destroyed a 2-story building at Plantation Ross Region 5 on Sunday afternoon. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports that the blaze also destroyed 5 motorcycles and a generator belonging to customers.
The fire destroyed the 2-story building at Plantation Ross, Region 5, that's Mahika Berbice, which was home to Leon Fraser, a mechanic. The 45-year-old man said at around 13 hours 30 on Sunday he was repairing a motorcycle when he heard shouts of fire. The father of 3 said when he looked up he saw smoke coming from one of the windows and ran upstairs into the house where he saw the mattress in the bedroom on fire.
When I go upstairs, one in mattress on the bed. I know at least that's where I see like smoke inside. Try to like pull it up and pull it out. And between like wall device and the table that close, the mattress thing have to come out. But I cannot pull it like stuck and it happened so fast. I just grab one TV. By the time I come down for go back, you have to push the wall device like pull the mattress. Too much flame.
Explaining that he was confused at the moment, Fraser said there was plenty of combustible material which aided in the quick spread of the fire. Among the items destroyed apart from household items were 5 motorcycles and a generator, all belonging to customers. Fraser said the motorcycles were worth in excess of $2 million. Personal documents of himself and his siblings were also destroyed by the fire.
Going 5 years in reach, but me alone at the time. Was me before.
Firefighters from the nearby Unfawak fire station responded and were able to contain the blaze to the one building. Fraser said he has nowhere to live.
Everything I got in. Everything except the clothes I get now. Everything on there. Everything. I know.
And apparently, you probably suffered some burns as well?
Yeah, well, this is from trying to bring outside. Forget. Where is it?
So you managed to save some stuff?
Some stuff, 155-inch TV.
That's it?
And it's soaked as it. Say just, not good no more.
Persons wishing to make contact with him can do so on telephone number 642-3727. Andrew Carmichael, Evening News.
The Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change are expected to convene talks soon, following their poor performances at the September 1 general and regional elections. Find out more in this Trishel Sobers report.
The Partnership for National Unity APNU and Alliance for Change AFC decided to run solo at this year's September 1 polls. The two parties weighed against the People's Progressive Party, Civic PPPC, and political newcomers We Invest in Nationhood Win, Assembly of Liberty and Prosperity, and Forward Guyana movement. The results from last week's polls, which were officially declared by GCOM on Saturday night, not only showed that the PPPC won by a landslide, but that the APNU and AFC lost significant support among their bases. In fact, newcomers like WIN and FGM have gained considerable support, with the first becoming the main parliamentary opposition with 16 seats in the National Assembly and FGM packing up 1 seat. This means APNU's seats have reduced considerably to 12 seats, while AFC has been completely booted from the parliamentary chambers. In the last parliament, the APNU and AFC had held 31 seats in the National Assembly, forming the main parliamentary opposition. Of these, the AFC itself occupied 9 of those seats, while the remaining 22 were held by APNU politicians. In a brief telephone interview with this newscast on Monday, AFC leader Nigel Hughes disclosed that the party will meet shortly with all its members to conduct a thorough analysis of the 2025 polls.
I do have an analysis, but I'd rather share that with the party first before I share it with the public. The party is going to meet shortly, and it will decide what rebuilding. First of all, it has to conduct an analysis of the results, and based on that analysis, they will then determine what direction it should take.
Similar sentiments were echoed by APNU executive member Ganesh Mahipal, who noted that the party findings will be released to the public following its conclusion.
So doing its assessment of the situation, and I'm sure at the opportune time they will put out a formal statement that can be carried by all media houses. So I respectfully ask for that patience as we do our introspection, and I'm sure our own internal assessment before we put out a statement to the effect.
Once an emerging third force in Guyana, the AFC had won 5 of the 65 seats in Parliament at the 2006 elections and 7 in 2011. It teamed up with APNU in 2015, and together they won that year's elections, but their term was cut short in 2018 when the government fell to a no-confidence motion. Since then, both parties' support have been visibly declining. Trishel Sobers, Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic at 3 hours 55 on Tuesday, September 9, 2025, for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic at 6 hours 10 on Tuesday, September 9, 2025, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
And now for a look at the local stock exchange market compliments of GASI. Rizwan's brilliance, Nasim's final over, Seal Patriots' win, and mixed results for Amazon Warriors women as WCPL commences. These stories and more coming up in this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
It's Cricket Carnival time and MacCorp is knocking prices out of the park. Get the powerful CAT 320GX for just 30 million, the SEM 655D loader at 17.4 million, or the SEM 636D loader for only 13.8 million. Each machine comes with free fuel warranty registration, 2 years warranty, and a customer value agreement for the first 500 hours. Don't wait. Register your interest now at markarbcat.com or call us today on 703-8618. Markarb, let's build Guyana together.
It's Cyprian, it's Cyprian time. Cyprian, we're all in. Man, girl, and boy, feel the Cyprian joy from every nation in the Caribbean. Larger than life, we're building legends in this Caribbean nation. We're all in. It's Cyprian time.
We're all in. Republic Bank, title sponsor and official bank of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's
Farmers, don't waste your grass. This grass shredder from Sylvie's cuts all the way to the stem, so every part becomes rich, digestible feed for your cows, goats, and sheep. Healthier animals mean better milk, stronger growth, and more profit in your pocket. Turn your grass into gold. Get your grass shredder now at Sylvie's Industrial Solutions. Visit Sylvie's at 31 High and Hatfield Streets or Lot 90 East Henrietta, Essequibo Coast. Call 227-6243 or 624-5121. SylviesOnline.com, your partner in